Hi, everyone, and welcome back to the series for understanding men and women. If you haven't got a copy yet, why not? Go and get yourself one. You can pause the video. Ready? Mine is absolutely perfect. So today I want to talk to you about a little bit about what a man will dedicate his life to in terms of finding that right one. I know that in the twin flame community, many of you are wondering why perhaps your divine masculine is with someone else, and why perhaps you might not feel good enough for him, or if it's not a self-esteem issue on your part, it's kind of like, you want to unlock what he's really after. And so in terms of looking at a man in a holistic way, whether he is awakened or not awakened, we can find out a little bit more about what he's after. And so I'm going to use the tarot to help me, because I like the mystery of how the tarot brings up different thoughts. Oh, just like that in my mind. I mean, I already know what I kind of want to say, but the tarot really brings it out in an even better way sometimes. So just hang on a minute. That's to signify how the man procrastinates in letting you know what he really wants, which is quite often the case in general. A lot of people that I've worked with say that, they've experienced that bubble love bliss phase with their divine masculine, and then the divine masculine kind of goes away, and they're kind of wondering, well, hang on a minute, what did I do? Is there something, in me that I didn't give them, or, perhaps their karmic partner's got something that I don't, or something like that. And so what is a man willing to dedicate his life to? Who is he willing to marry? And what kind of partnership is he looking for? I guess to get my throat chakra, because the divine masculine is like, don't tell all my secrets. Sorry, divine masculine. Wow, I'm going to laugh a little bit. There seems to be this confusion in the divine masculine. On one hand, he blissfully felt that bubble love phase with you, perhaps, and then he may either go away and separate from you and say one of two things. The first thing he might say is, I'm not ready for a relationship with you right now. Or he might say, if he's in, I love the tarot, if he's in a karmic partnership, right, that's perhaps toxic or in third dimensional consciousness, he may say, I'm not ready to leave this relationship. I'm not ready to build a home or have a relationship with you. And so the divine feminine, or the woman, in this case, I'm going to use divine masculine as the man and divine feminine as the woman, but you can flip genders how it resonates for you, of course. What happens is then the divine feminine kind of goes away from the connection and asks herself, well, what is it in me that he doesn't love? What is it in me that I don't have that perhaps the karmic partner does have? And so there'll be this very, it feels like a natural thing for the woman to start behaving in a way where she's like, well, maybe I need to go to the gym, or maybe I need to lose weight, or maybe I need to work on myself, or maybe I need to, I don't know, learn another language, or seem like I'm more motherly, or seem more sexy, or seem more something. And so the rejection of the love, the seeming rejection of the love on the divine masculine's part, can actually quite beautifully make the divine feminine go into this space of healing herself from whatever ideas that she has within herself that she feels like she needs to change. Because usually what she feels is needed to attract him is the things that needed to change anyway. So she kind of goes into this hibernation stage. She's still thinking of divine masculine, still thinking, he's the one I love. He's, there's no one else I could possibly love. He's my man, he's my man. But then she locks herself in this prison of thought. I need to get thinner. I need to get more spiritual. I need to buy new clothes. I need to rearrange my furniture. I need to do all of these things. And from a place of an awakened state, depending on the stage of the divine feminine, she can then realize in her own heart, it takes some time to realize that there maybe are some changes that could be done, but she is actually pure and beautiful just the way she is. Okay, and that there is really nothing in her on the outside, on the outset, in the superficial way that needs to change. She doesn't need to go and get fake breasts. She doesn't need to plaster herself with heaps of makeup. I mean, if she wants to, she can, but she doesn't need to. There's nothing really lacking in her except her own need to find herself. Okay. Because on the twin flame journey, and I'm going to get back to the original question in a minute, but on the twin flame journey, what you'll find is that you're really searching for yourself. All along, you've been searching for yourself. The hardest conversation you'll ever have is that conversation with yourself. That truthfulness with yourself. Because if we really take a good look in the mirror, internally within us, we can find what's holding us back. We can see what our blocks are on our own. We really don't need anyone else to put a mirror to us. I mean, the twin flame journey does that, you know what I mean? Because of the rejection of your divine masculine. He might say, I'm not ready for a relationship, or I'm already in a relationship and I'm not willing to move forward with you, or something like that, and there's this block in the way. Whatever that might be. I'm too busy at work at the moment. I can't think of dating right now. Let's say, there could be 100 different explanations. And I find it interesting that women automatically think that there's something wrong with them. So yes, you do need to go within, and you do need to discover what your blocks are on a spiritual level, perhaps on a mental and physical level as well. Perhaps you do need to lose some weight, but that's not why he's rejecting you. Perhaps you do need to be more spiritual, but that's not why he's rejecting you. You know what I mean? Perhaps you do need to do these things for yourself anyway, regardless of whether he's saying that he wants to be in a relationship with you or not. So let's get to the topic video question now, which is, what will a man dedicate his life to? And I just love the tarot because it's literally bringing me the cards I want at the right time. Very synchronistic here. What will a man dedicate his life to? this becomes the most important question that's always on the divine feminine's mind. You know, you meet your divine masculine, you go through that bubble love phase, and from the divine feminine's perspective, all she wants is for him to come to her. She wants him to be the chaser, you know, for a change. And this is, you know, many times why divine feminine are watching so many tarot readings or listening to channelings or, you know, looking up all of this stuff online, because they want to know what's going to make that man dedicate their life to them. So I'm going to put it to you in a very, very interesting way. I want you to imagine that you've gone to the candy store, and I've got a cool card here that kind of looks like candy. I would never suggest that anyone eats candy because it's pure sugar and it's very bad. But just for this example, I'm going to use candy. Okay? If you went to the candy store and you were 5 years old, you know, and you only ever had it once a year and you knew it was a treat, and your mother said to you, you can pick one candy, like she's looked through her purse and she's only got enough to buy a bag of one type of candy, all right? And you've literally walked into a, you know, a proper candy store where they've got all of these different colors. It's a kaleidoscope, all right? A kaleidoscope of colors there. And you can imagine that little boy, let's say that's a little boy, looking around, going, how am I going to choose this candy? You know, only one? You know, he might even look at his mother and go, only one? What do you mean only one? There's 10 gazillion types of candy here. Okay. And to a man, especially a divine masculine who hasn't quite awoken fully yet, the world of women is like a kaleidoscope of candy. You know, there's all types of physicality to choose from. There's all types of cultures available to him. There are, you know, women who are more, I would say, you know, more academic or more intelligent in their way of being. There are women who are, you know, more simple, but in that really kind and precious way where they, I don't know, you could take them home to mum and they, you know, cook for you and clean for you, and, you know, because they wanted to, or something like that, you know. And then there's those sexy ones, like if you've seen The Matrix and there's the woman in the red dress, you know, those temptress kind of women. And so the world is made up of this kaleidoscope of candy, kaleidoscope of women, all different types. Some are intelligent, some are short, some are fat, some are cute, they're all beautiful in their own ways. And you're asking him to choose? You're asking him to choose? Okay, so the palette of a man in general, generally speaking, divine masculine or not, is, well, especially if they're not truly awakened, their palette might be even bigger than if an awakened man will see the value in women more easily, in certain types of women that, you know, kind of feel good to him in a heart-based way, all right? But a man is going to dedicate his life to a woman who is of all palettes. So if you can be a little bit sexy, a little bit intelligent, a little bit motherly, a little bit like a homemaker, a little bit cheeky or naughty, a little bit of everything. Not everything, I mean, we can't be everything, but if you can look like there's more facets to you. I mean, there are more facets to everyone, but if if he can see in you a palette of different things that, you can be funny, you can be sexy, you can be intelligent, you can be homely, you can be cute and cheeky, right? Then he kind of feels like he's getting all of the things that he's been looking for. Because an unawakened man, as you know, may go out and become a player, may go out looking for love in all the wrong places, looking to have sex with different women just because he can, because he's perhaps not connected to his heart space, perhaps he's not linking up that sex is a sacred thing yet, depends on where he is in his journey. But the man will dedicate his life to a woman who has many facets. Someone who can be open to his ideas, someone who can also interact with him without being argumentative, without judging him too much, without being less than a best friend. So I guess the difference between, a male's friend and someone that could potentially be his wife, the main difference is that he's not going to have sex with his best friend or make love to his best friend, I guess you could say. But he's kind of looking for a best friend. Someone he can have fun with, someone he can have conversations with, someone he can enjoy life with, someone he can make love to, someone he can have sex with. If you're going to share a life with someone, for him, in his mind, his life may look like, I want to go skydiving. Would she come skydiving? Yes, cool. I like her. Or when I'm sad, he might say, I really like to be nurtured and I would, like someone to kind of mother me and bring me soup. Would she do that? Tick. Yes, she would. Is she going to judge me in every minute? Is she going to nag me in every minute? Is she going to be against me in every minute? Men like to feel safe. Men don't like drama. Men, in general, don't like arguments. So they're going to be looking in this palette or this kaleidoscope of candy that they've got to choose from here, are going to be looking for all of those qualities within that woman. Is she going to nag me? Is she going to judge me? Will she be there when I need to be comforted? Will she be my best friend no matter what I do? Will she be loyal to me or break my heart? Will she get pissed off with me? Will she make me feel off balance? Will she take all my money? Will she cut me down in an argument? Will she love me forever and ever and ever and ever and ever? Will she be loyal? Will she be kind? Will she have, most importantly, unconditional love for me and me only? Will she see me as her one and only? And so a man will dedicate his life to someone he believes will be his best friend, who'll have his back, but someone he can also make love to, someone he can also feel sexy with. Remember, men enjoy sex. Most men enjoy sex or making love a lot. So they want that sexiness as well. They want someone to share that intimacy with. They don't want to be defensive and arguing. They don't want to feel sad and lonely within the connection. They don't want to feel defeated or bogged down by the woman. They want to be able to enjoy some kind of freedom here, to explore their own excuse me, the throat chakra's going here, because many divine masculine haven't been able to speak this truth, and so I'm coming to you with this video. The freedom to still explore what their mission is in this world. The freedom to still be individual, and the freedom to still be able to love you while they're doing all of this. So on one hand, they still want to have the freedom. Wow. Wow, on one hand, they still want to have the freedom, and on the other hand, they still want to love you. So that's why sometimes a man won't dedicate his life to you right away, because he's slowly working out if you're going to be that kaleidoscope of candy or that palette of color in his life. And that can take some time, because men are logical creatures and they like to think about these things. And while they're thinking, they also like to explore the rest of the kaleidoscope of color, and they will use what they see in other women as a comparison to what they see in you. And that's generally why when divine masculine meets his divine feminine, he's kind of blown away. Because not only does she create that palette or that kaleidoscope of color for him, but he also feels so kundalini kind of connected and heart space connected, and I don't know, it's kind of feels, in a way you could say it would be like meeting a superstar, or meeting God, or meeting, I don't know, or going to see a volcano and it actually explodes in front of your very eyes and you're just mesmerized. You know, obviously you're in a safe place when that happens. But you know what I mean? It's just like this explosion. And then, of course, the thinking begins, because men are logical creatures. Even the awakened masculine thinks a lot. Even the awakened masculine in his heart space, constantly thinking, because they're logical creatures. You know, naturally, biologically, men are logical creatures. They don't feel it, they think about it. And then when the feeling comes in, it's usually a very root chakra kind of feel, a very sexually based feeling when they're attracted to a woman. All right, so I hope this video helps. This is part of the Understanding Men and Women series. I'm going to be adding lots and lots of different videos so you can get some tidbits on what it's like to be a man and a woman within the twin flame community or within the twin flame journey, because there are some differences. I'm also going to be using the terms, awakened or distorted, divine feminine, divine masculine, and I'm also going to be using the terms of third dimensional consciousness as opposed to fifth dimensional consciousness as above. But as you watch the videos, you'll come to learn what I mean by those terms. And I hope you have a beautiful day, night, afternoon, evening, or morning, wherever you are in the world. And I thank you for joining me here. If you want to check out my services, please look in the description box below. And I look forward to bringing you more content on this cool subject. Okay, bye everyone. Have a great day. Bye.